will suffer the same vicious bullying, and Japanese society will do nothing to stop it. Diana Kuricki, NBC News, Tokyo.
A closer look returns after this.
Her husband's dead.
Yes.
Or so she thought.
It's sort of a painful blur.
And the man she thinks is his brother
I wanted to tell her the truth.
is really someone else.
You want me to have the feelings for you that I had for your brother.
The truth
There are things I haven't told you.
and the consequences
I cannot love you.
on Santa Barbara.
That's it for us today. Tom Brokaw will be along tonight with a Daily Difference report on the occupational hazard of the 90s, stress. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.
A Closer Look is a production of NBC News.
Introducing The Daily Difference. Every week, 5 special reports that'll make a difference in your life. A Daily Difference. Only on NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
What about it? Are you a bench warmer? Instead of working out and shaping up, do you just sit on the sidelines warming the bench or the sofa? If you do, then it's time for a change. I know getting started on a workout program is hard, but I'm gonna make it easy on you. I'm gonna give you a chance to try out the best fitness club in town, US Swim & Fitness, without spending a penny. If you call this number now, you can get a 2-week trial membership absolutely free. That's right, free. We've offered this trial membership before for $9.95, but if you call now, it's free. You can come as many times as you want over 2 weeks and try everything out. The exercise machinery, the free weights, the pool, the whirlpool, the aerobic classes, the racquetball, everything. So get off the bench and get in on the action by calling now. When you stop being a bench warmer, you'll find there's no substitute for being in shape.
Watch Paul Douglas on KARE 11 News. From your 24-hour news station, this is KARE 11 News and Weather on the Hour.
Good morning, I'm Amy Powell. 55 degrees at 11 o'clock. A team of U.S. military experts will join counterparts from Laos in the first joint search for evidence on what happened to Americans believed captured during the Indochina War. Japanese Prime Minister Kaifu is on his way to California for meetings with President Bush. However, analysts don't expect much to come out of the meetings. More news coming up on Between Friends.
Good morning, everybody. Diana Pierce is filling in for Corbin Seitz, who is on vacation. And we're going to talk nice to have you here. We're going to talk to Senator Paul Wellstone, who's back for a second visit, 90 days after he was sworn in as a junior senator from Minnesota. We'll be talking to he and his wife, Sheila.
Then after that, we're going to be finding out how safe our cosmetics are in the cupboard. You know, those things that have been hanging around for years. Well, we'll find out from Nurse Agnes what we should keep and what we should throw out.
And also, today is our final makeover ever on Between Friends. Yours truly. We'll talk to a couple of ladies that got some very interesting stories to tell. All that and more coming up with Diana Pierce live right here on Between Friends. Good morning to you all.
And, great-looking audience with us this
Great-looking audience. A lot of those folks are from the Federal Republic of Germany, or the German, how do you say it now, just Germany? Just Germany.
Germany.
High school class from Germany that are here, so nice to have them with us.
It's nice to be here.
Nice to have you here in your patriotic red. And
yes, I'm usually watching this show at home with a cup of something.
Vacuuming?
Vacuuming. Well, see now, vacuuming and Dawson go for me back many years. I used to watch Dawson on the Fashion Channel and vacuum on the weekends, so when I saw that you were coming to Minnesota, I was really excited because, you know, kind of a hip, happening kind of guy.
Thanks. So I'm glad you've been watching the show.
Yeah.
But you're sort of back in your element now because you used to host
I had a talk show.
Talk show back in California?
No, actually in Virginia. I had a talk show for about 2.5 years. And so this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I can slide back into it.
It's fun on the,
for a day.
For a day. Well, it's nice to have you here. And everything is going well. You're expecting your first child?
Yes. Yes, August 4th, that's what the doctors tell me, except every time I go in there, it might move up a day or two, but he wants to make sure that we'll just tell the world that it's August 4th. And, of course, you know, when I get home in the evening, I have little tap dancing going on. So it's kind of...
is it starting to send little signals?
Oh, yes, yes. I think it's redecorating. Yeah, I think it's moving things around. It's, you know, having a good time.
Do you know what it's going to be?
Yes, I know.
But you're not sharing that?
I'm not sharing that with
Really?
them. No.
I'm thinking girl. I want to go out on a limb.
Well, you have a 50-50 chance.
I know,
right.
but I'm saying, but I called Kevin Costner and Dances with Wolves after we reviewed it. So I'm calling Diana Pierce is going to have a baby girl. It's coming to me now. I feel like Karnak, the Magnificent.
Well, you know,
baby
we
girl,
should actually be asking the audience for names too, because you know, either boys or girl names. You know.
7 pounds, 3 ounces.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should mark this day down in history.
Yeah. Will you let me know when I'm back?
Dawson predicts. No, you needed the Karnak hat.
I need the turban. Our first guest today is we had on the show several months ago, right before he was going down to Washington. Paul Wellstone won a very close victory in a hotly contested race over long-term incumbent Rudy Boschwitz, and we're going to check in with Paul Wellstone and his wife Sheila right now to see how things are going down in Washington, D.C. Let's meet up. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good to be here. Nice to have you with us.
Yeah.
Before we get to...
I have a suggestion.
What?
For names.
Yes.
Paul or Paula.
Okay. Paula?
Well, and I work with 2 Pauls, so
that's right.
That would be figure into the configuration.
Our children are expecting. Our oldest son David and his wife Tammy are expecting a child any time. And I've been lobbying for Paul or Paula. They're not interested at all, but I keep trying.
Oh, they're not going to carry some Wellstone.
God, I would love you for. It would mean a lot to me.
Listen, before we get into sort of the particulars of politics. I noticed something new and different about you since you were on the show. You've got a new coif, and apparently you got your first professional haircut in like 25 years?
27 years, I think, since we've been married. Yeah.
Now, Sheila, had you been cutting his hair before?
Of course, we're seeing pictures now.
Kathy Golden did. Kathy Golden.
Did you supervise the hair cutting here?
Well, I stayed real close, right.
Now, is this because you're picking up tips because you might be continuing to do this in the future?
Well, she was giving me tips, yeah, but I don't know that, so maybe so.
Paul, did you ever go to an image consultant after you were elected and say, listen, wear, the power tie, the power suit? I mean, have you fallen to that political dynamic of the image?
No. No, I haven't been to any image consultants, but seriously, Kathy sent us at this place, Curl Up and Die.
After 27 years, you must have had offers somewhere along the line for people to... No, you had no offers.
Absolutely not.
No, but her letter was so great, which was, I know Sheila cut your hair, and that's really nice, but you look horrible. That's what she said in her letter.
No, she didn't say
well,
that.
Well, yes, she did in so many words, so I thought it was so funny that we'd go over and try it out.
Well, how do you like it?
I think I look like Robert Redford now. I mean,
in fact, people have been saying that.
Oh, I know.
They say, he's coming, Redford's here, he's in the studio.
It's just amazing, the change. So you think that this is, now, are we going into the full facial after this? Head massage, now that you've had the haircut?
And stilts to get a little taller.
And stilts.
I can set you up with Dr. Harry Johnson, a frequent contributor to the show, if you want a little light tuck or a little chemical peel or something.
I think we're going to draw the line. One haircut.
One haircut will do it. Sheila, I'll sort of pose this to you. How is life in Washington for you right now? Are you enjoying yourself? Has it been what you expected it to be?
Well, you realize I'm not living there yet.
Right.
But the times I've been out, it's been very nice. People have been, very cordial, warm, friendly. But the times I've been out have been mainly around occasions because I'm still here because Mark is a senior, will be graduating in June. So I haven't been able to go out and just really plunge into things to see what I really feel about it. But as for what I've done now and the people I've met, I'm excited about doing it. I think there are a lot of things to do once I get there.
Senator, on a more serious note, you were riding a political high on election eve, and now the opinion polls don't seem to be quite as favorable. There have been several critical articles across the nation about some of the things that you're doing in Washington. Are you taking this personally? How do you feel about this?
Boy, you are nice. The polls don't seem to be quite as favorable. Well, I'll tell you, it has taught me a lesson. It's what I have said to students in 20 years of teaching. You have to dig deep inside, Diana. I'm serious about this, and you have to decide what you believe in, and you have to be honest about it. I took a minority view, what turned out to be a minority view on the war, but I was honest. I said what I believed. I had a lot of concerns, have a lot of concerns, and so I think now it's just a matter of continuing to be honest about what I believe, staying close touch with people in Minnesota, and I hope, and I'll do everything I can that's humanly possible on my part, that people will come to say he's honest about his views on all issues, and over a period of time to come, people will be proud of me. But that's all I can do.
What's next, now that the war is over? Is that an issue that is placed behind you now?
I guess in a way, the honest answer is no. I don't think it's behind us. I mean, as we speak here today, you know, you see just the carnage, the slaughter of the Kurds. You wonder what's happening in Iraq. Not any reconciliation yet between Israelis and Palestinians. In Kuwait, Palestinians now, we read reports of Palestinians being rounded up and tortured and murdered. It's not clear it's a more stable region or a more peaceful region. There's much to do, and I want to be a voice in that. So we don't know what the aftermath will be yet, and I think it's going to be a real challenge for all of us. And then there are those issues that come into people's living rooms, into their kitchens, and stare them in the face, like, can I keep my dairy farm, or can we keep our school system going, or can I afford to send my kids to college, or how about health care? Can I afford it, or I've lost my health insurance plan? All those issues are going to be very important, and those are issues that are very dear to my heart, and I'm going to try and be a real strong voice for people.
I'd like to go back to the Kurdish issue, which has been in the press the last couple of days. Do you feel that we should not involve ourselves at this point into the internal affairs of Iraq, or do you think that we should go to the aid of these people?
I think we should. I said it yesterday. I'm very uncomfortable sitting on the sideline. I think we should work through the United Nations and other countries. The French have made that proposal.
Without military involvement?
It would be far better if not military involvement, but some effort ought to be made. The problem is at this point in time, you know, it's like now a good part of the massacre has taken place, and I would have preferred and would prefer for some sort of UN role to be played to come in and mediate and to insist that the slaughter and the carnage stop. I mean, some kind of effort I would like to be made. I think it's...
In what way? I mean, they're trying to send medical help there now through the Red Cross. Would you like to see that expanded in some manner? Do you want to see monies sent to the people who are now fleeing into Turkey?
I think the United Nations needs to directly get involved, Diana. I think there needs to be, on the part of the United Nations, there needs to be sort of some mediation effort, some insistence that, first of all, Saddam Hussein stop the slaughter, that people just not be mowed down and indiscriminately killed. Pressure needs to be brought to bear. Also, there can be all sorts of humanitarian relief efforts underway and need to be underway. It's a very, very uncomfortable feeling. I can't speak for other Minnesotans and other people in the country, but I suspect that many people are wondering about what's happening there.
What's the feedback that you're getting in your office from Minnesotans?
I think people, and I want to make sure that I'm not sort of like just projecting my view, rather projecting what people say. I think, from what we've heard, people have kind of a pretty awful feeling in their stomach right now about this. People don't feel good about it, and they wonder, what can we do?
What about the Palestinian issue? How soon do you think that should be addressed?
Well, I have, as a Jew, have done some writing about this and speaking about it for years. I don't want to see Israeli children and Palestinian children killing each other for generations to come. There has to be some reconciliation, some kind of land for peace settlement. The sooner the better. At this point in time, I can't be optimistic. I mean, that's not the direction we're going in, but I certainly think that has to be part of the equation for a more peaceful and a more stable and a more democratic region.
If a certain level of stability is not achieved within a predetermined period of time in the Middle East, and I couldn't speculate on what that period of time would be, would you be for having some kind of a peacekeeping force with American and possibly UN involvement in the Middle East, either offshore in the Persian Gulf or strategically placed in Kuwait or Saudi Arabia, just to keep all the players at bay?
May be necessary. I think it should be definitely, the key word, Dawson, is UN. I mean, can't be unilateral, can't be the United States alone. I mean, that may be it.
Sheila, how has your life changed as a result of the election? What kind of transition have you been going through?
Again, it's sort of, I guess I didn't realize before that always people are going to always know who you are, or people are going to, getting used to be able to go out to dinner and talking with people. Every place we go, it's very public. And it's very, you know, people are just wonderful. And I'm not saying that as a negative, it's a positive to go places and to have people coming up to Paul mainly and to reinforce what a great job they think he's doing, or saying, you know, hang with things, stay the way you are. But I think it's more just all of a sudden that transition from being able to go out places and you just do things, and then all of a sudden you go out and you're no longer just the two of us.
Lack of privacy.
Or people saying where they don't agree.
Oh,
which
yeah,
happens
right.
too, which I like.
Right.
Even if I don't agree.
But I think that's the biggest change. I mean, there are lots of changes, but that's sort of the biggest, just all of a sudden, you know, the public change. But it's been a very good
Do you ever find yourself as a go-between? Do people come to you now with their issues if they can't quite reach the senator?
Yeah, I have that. Even at work, they call us, you know. So, and where I work at the high school in Norfolk, people there have been just really wonderfully supportive, and I'm forever, they kid me and say that they need an answering service at work now for me. But even they'll track me down at work and say, you know, could you pass this on to Paul, or could you, or get, you know, mail, you know, people asking. And that's fine too. I've said all along, Paul and I want to work with Paul, and that's one reason I'm especially anxious to get to D.C. is that I'll be able to really start getting involved with the office there. Here I can't because I'm working. So I want people to feel like they can come to me also to get, you know, to Paul.
How soon do you think that you'll make that transition when your high school graduates from?
Probably the end of the summer. We'll stay. It'll be Mark's last summer at home. He has a summer job, and it will just be much easier, I think, to make that transition. So in September, I've kidded him, and I've said, we're just going to load a van. We're going to drop you at the exit closest to where you're going. So you go in, and Dad and I are going to keep on going.
In the South, we used to, you know, talk the civil rights movement, free at last, free at last. We're going to be free at last. Mark is our last one at home. He's going to be gone. And
now that's a fallacy, you know, because they'll eventually move back home.
Well,
there's college, graduate school.
We want them to visit, but it's going to be different. In 27 years, we've never had a chance to really, you know, with raising children and everything, and we were married so young, we've never had a chance to work together like this, side by side, and I think it's going to be great. And I'm going to really value Sheila's advice.
So do you have an agenda of some of the things, or one of the first issues that you want to start working together on?
The two areas that I'm very interested in are child abuse and violence toward women. And Paul, a lot of what Paul's work is with families and children. And I really think that all sort of comes together, so that I think, you know, there are so many issues, but if I wanted to make a real focus on what I plan to do, those would be the two main issues that I would deal with.
Great. Well, we're going to take a commercial break right now and be back with more questions from our audience for Senator Paul Wellstone and his wife, Sheila. Stay with us right here on Between Friends.
I'm running for the United States Senate from Minnesota. Unlike my opponent, I don't have $6 million, so I'm going to have to talk fast. This is my wife, Sheila, and our children. This is my house in Northfield, where I've lived for 21 years. My son, David, farms, and I've worked with Minnesota farmers for years. We must stop the poisoning of the air and the land and the water. I'll lead the fight for national health care. I've been a teacher for 24 years. Labor indoors.
Paul Wellstone won't slow down after he's elected. Vote for Paul Wellstone on November 6th.
Nothing can match the fun.
What you do, naked, nude?
Yes! Nothing can beat the excitement.
Go. I'm so
excited.
Yeah! Nothing compares to our celebrity guests. And nothing can equal the cash. Zero in on the power of the pyramid, the $100,000 pyramid, with host John Davidson.
Discover the only pyramid in America.
Weekdays at 4 on KARE 11.
Heather Wing found out she needed glasses at Family Health Fair 11.
When I got my glasses, I could see the blackboard, and when I went to the movies, I could actually see the movie.
And it's something we caught early enough before it was a potential major problem.
I'm Diana Pierce. Check out your health at Family Health Fair 11. Call the connection for the health fair nearest you.
Sponsored by the Family of Health One Community Hospitals, healthcare services and affiliated physicians, helping you make good choices for your health.
Every day, millions of people are hiding the taste of their hot dogs. There's no question some deserve this fate, but not John Morrell. Our hot dogs are really good, and they've earned the Good Housekeeping seal. That's because our great taste comes from the unique blend of fresh, lean meats and seasonings we put into a hot dog. Not what you put on it. John Morel, the great taste stands alone.
New John Morel Bigger Than the Bun Franks, available at Rainbow Foods.
She claims her best-selling spy thrillers are true and names stars who helped her. Get the inside story from this real-life spy on Entertainment Tonight.
Wednesday at 6:30 on KARE 11.
The Osmond Shrine Circus. Thursday through Sunday, April 4th through the 7th, St. Paul Civic Center. Call the connection for more information.
All over Minnesota is a new sense of pride that together we can meet any challenge tomorrow may bring. At KARE 11 News, we'll be there to meet them with you. And when has that mattered more?
We've traveled thousands of miles on that old green bus, and now that green bus is within inches of its destination. And if present trends continue, and we've already seen what WCCO has said, that bus is going to take a United States Senator from Minnesota to Washington, D.C.
And the winner and champion is Paul Wellstone from Minnesota, and we're back here on our second portion of our chat with he and his wife Sheila. And we have some questions from our studio audience.
Before we go, I have to find, where is that green bus now?
Paul Scott, who drove that bus, it's out at his home. It lives in Bloomington. It's a well-deserved rest.
Okay. Will we ever see it?
We took the bus out to Washington, and then on the way back on the Indiana tollway, it lit on fire, and everybody had to run out of the bus. So it's been repaired, and we're just going to let it rest for a while.
Will you use it in Minnesota?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It doesn't get the best mileage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a bit of a guzzler.
Yeah. I'm on the Energy Committee now, you know. I have to be more concerned.
Have to be careful.
You have a question for Senator Wellstone?
I have two questions that are kind of tied in together. We want to know how secure Social Security is, and we also want to know what you're doing to prevent more cuts in the rest home area, the nursing home area.
On the first question, the Social Security program as an entitlement program is a lot more secure than some of the discretionary spending programs. My own view about Social Security is that it's a contract, it's a sacred trust, really, that we make to senior citizens, and that we should always continue to support the Social Security program, and there shouldn't be cuts at all. On the nursing home, which is kind of dear to my heart, because both my parents had Parkinson's disease, and we took care of them until we couldn't any longer, and then they were in nursing homes in Northfield. I think there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of constraints, you know, that people are working under, and I worry about it. For my own part, I can tell you what I want to do, which is I want to introduce legislation for a national health care program, universal health care coverage, which includes a real commitment of resources across the board, including nursing homes, and I have to add this, home-based care. I would like to see a lot of senior citizens, older people, have that option of being able to stay home at home as well.
Paul, aren't you concerned, I just want to interject 1 second, about a national health care, that the quality of care that people receive from physicians could be diminished? It certainly has been evidenced in England and also in Canada.
Well,
they've had some problems.
You know, we always hear about the sort of horrors of medicine, England or Canada, but I don't see, let's take Canada, I don't see droves of citizens from Canada coming to the United States so that instead of having the Canadian healthcare system, they can experience ours. I mean, it depends upon, Dawson, how you view problems. The problem to me is to have 37 million people with no health insurance. The problem to me is to have double that number underinsured. The problem to me is to have older people who have Medicare, but it doesn't cover nursing home expenses, it doesn't cover prescription drug costs. A problem to me are small businesses and large businesses that can't afford the premiums, and all the people that fall between the cracks, children that aren't immunized, aren't healthy. We have to move towards some system of national health care.
Susan, you have a question for Senator Wellstone.
Yes, I know that one of your areas is higher education, and having a daughter that's going to be going on to college in another year and a husband that works in the higher education field, I'm interested in hearing what your thoughts are on that and what you're doing about it.
Thanks for the question. I campaigned around education and children, and I'm sitting on the subcommittee on education. I'm going to hold a couple of sanctioned hearings, which will be part of the official record May 3rd, May 6th in Minnesota, I'm going to be meeting with students at Moorhead State tomorrow night. I have a couple of different views, and I'll rattle them off quickly so that we can get to other questions. Number one, in the mid-'70s, about 70% of the federal aid was in the form of grants, 30% loans. That's turned around. Now it's loans, not grants. I want to see an expansion of the Pell Grant program. It's not there. I've met students who sell plasma for textbooks at the beginning of the semester, students that work 2 minimum wage jobs, and teachers that say their students are too exhausted to learn. There has to be an expansion of Pell Grant program. Number two, I would like to see a lot of steps taken in middle school and to make sure that students of color have more accessibility to higher education. And third of all, I would actually like to see some debt forgiveness for students who, upon graduation, go into public interest type of work.
Sheila, this is for you. With 3 children, David, Marcia, and Mark, how do you keep your family together? How do you keep them in contact with one another?
Well, you know, they're all sort of scattered right now, but they do a pretty good job of that themselves. They can't visit a lot because they're not, Mark's at home, David's in Tamir and Chatfield, and Marcia's in Madison at school. But they do come home periodically over vacations. They do talk a lot on the phone. And during wrestling season, which we just finished, brother and sister both came home to watch big tournaments. So we sort of have, I think, you know, like every other family, those special times, birthdays, whatever, when we do get together. And otherwise, they're just pretty good about staying in touch with each other.
Have any of the children expressed the possibility of following in their father's footsteps?
You know, I don't know that they would verbalize it. I know that they all like people, they all like to talk, they all like being out and about, so we'll see what happens.
And they like to wrestle, too.
Yeah, right.
You know, one thing that has changed, I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but one thing that has really changed in our family as your children get older, too, is that it's meant a lot to me that our kids, who are now 25, 21, and 18, during the times when I was under a lot of attack, where people didn't agree with me in my position in the war, they called me. And they supported me kind of like you as an adult support your children as they grow up, and it really meant a lot to me. I saw our children in a very different light. I saw them as close friends, not just sort of little kids.
Is there
That's
something
really changed.
that really stands out in your mind that they communicated with you?
Yeah,
like
Marcia.
they were behind you?
Well, it just stands out in my mind that they, it was touching to me that they were constantly on the phone trying to bolster my spirits, saying, don't worry, you always told us that you just have to move forward. It meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me.
What about your ideas on campaign and financing reforms that you think should be implemented?
Well, I mean, I think that we don't really have a democracy like we should have in this country because it's not true that each person counts as one and no more than one. I think big money has dominated politics. It's obscene to spend $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million on a Senate race. I would like to move toward a system of public financing applied to general elections and to primaries. And I will tell you, especially it's appropriate on TV, I would like to see the media play a different role. I would like to see television required and radio required to offer real discount rates to candidates for advertisements. I'd like to see the candidates required to appear in those advertisements so we get away from some of the manipulation. And I would like to see television, public airways, devote a certain amount of time to debates. I think that may be the case in Germany, and have candidates required to take part in those debates. We'd have a more issue-oriented politics, less manipulation, and less big money.
Are you going to run for re-election?
Am I going to run for re-election?
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard to say. I mean, I'm not. I love teaching, which is what I've done in the past. I think I will love being in the Senate, and if I feel like I've accomplished a lot and done well for people, then I would run for one more term. I said after the election, 2 terms would be all I would want to serve.
On a lighter note, your schedule when you come home is jammed. You have breakfast here, you have luncheons 40 miles away, and then you have a speaking engagement in the afternoon. And what do you do to unwind and relax? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie?
What's your favorite TV show?
Wow. Wait. You know, actually, more than anything else, I like to work out. I like to run. I like to just get out and run by myself. And I do like to read books, and I especially like to read biography. And I like to spend time, I mean, like everybody, I guess I like to spend a lot of time with Sheila, go for walks.
Well, we thank you both for being here today, and Sheila, thank you as well for appearing on our show, and best of luck down in Washington.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Wellstone. We'll be right back with some latest breaking news right here in Between Friends. Stay with us.
You got it on the nose.
America's hottest new game show is here, The Challengers.
Step up to the $500 challenge.
Dick Clark hosts a battle for big cash.
We're going to bump that money up $1,000 every day until it is won.
It's TV's first game that's timely and topical.
1990's most nominated show picked up a total of 14 Emmy nods. Name the show.
On The Challengers.
Weekdays at 4:30 on KARE 11.
At Steve's Warehouse Discount Foods, I won't sell it to you until we can buy it at the lowest possible price.
No, not cheap enough. What? At that price, someone else can sell it.
I promise you the lowest everyday prices, so if we can't buy it cheap, we just won't sell it.
No, keep it at that price. It's still not cheap enough.
My buyer drives a hard bargain to get you the lowest possible prices.
Now, it's cheap enough.
Steve's Warehouse Discount Foods. If it's not cheap enough for us, it's not cheap enough for you.
When Ryan Sabis was attacked by a dog, our friend suggested his parents call the law firm of Millivets and Associates.
The day we called them, there was an investigator sent to the house that night.
What impressed me most about Millivets and Associates is that from day one, they were in contact with us. And they gave us options that we didn't even realize were there.
Call Millivets and Associates at 533-1111 for a free at-home visit to discuss your injuries.
I was real happy.
I was one of those who didn't want to know, and it cost me my breast and almost my life. So now I watch Diana Pierce on KARE 11. Every day on healthcare, she has the latest medical breakthroughs from experts who know, and that makes me feel good, because good healthcare really matters.
Register now for the KARE 11 Bike Classic and help support cancer prevention and screening programs by Health One Hospitals and Healthcare Services.
Now we're going to go into the newsroom and join Amy Powell, who's working with some of the top headlines today. Amy?
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Diana. Thanks, Dustin. And good morning, everyone. Here are just a few of the stories we're working on in the KARE 11 newsroom. Authorities from Le County fly to Montana today to pick up a suspect in connection with Friday's murder of a Montgomery man. The 17-year-old is suspected in last week's shooting of Robert Tricka. Tricka was shot in the back and died in his trailer home. A 13-year-old boy was arrested at the scene. Marjorie Caldwell is in the news again. Caldwell, who was acquitted in the 1977 slaying of her wealthy adoptive mother, is in an Arizona jail on arson charges today. She is accused of setting fires to an abandoned house on March 24th and an occupied home on March 25th. Caldwell is being held on $50,000 bail. Turning to the Gulf, a vote could come today from the United Nations for a permanent ceasefire in the war with Iraq. The final resolution will be put before the Security Council, and when and if Baghdad accepts it, a permanent ceasefire could go into effect. The U.S. ambassador to the UN says he is very satisfied with the resolutions as they go before the Council.
We believe this is the right resolution. We believe it's a tough but an extremely fair resolution. It takes into account what is necessary to move the situation in the Iraq-Kuwait crisis into what I would say is the peacemaking phase. And that's certainly where we want to be. We certainly think that is right, and we think this resolution is the appropriate vehicle to do that.
Britain and France are calling for a UN humanitarian appeal to aid Iraq's Kurdish people. British officials say the Kurds in northern Iraq have become the new casualties of Saddam Hussein's inhumane policies. Many are stranded in the mountains, stuck between the advancing Iraqi soldiers and Turkish officials who won't let them cross the border. One rebel spokesman says thousands are dying from hunger and exposure. And a group of Kurds seized the Iraqi embassy in Belgium this morning, taking the only guard hostage. The group of about 10 protesters broke windows, slashed the portrait of Saddam Hussein, and threw it into the streets. The Iraqi ambassador labeled the incident a terrorist act. No injuries were reported. In Los Angeles, it has been a month now since the brutality case of Rodney King began, but the controversy continues to make the headlines. Mayor Tom Bradley, in a news conference last night, asked Police Chief Daryl Gates to do the right thing and resign so the city could start healing. Mayor Bradley doesn't have the power to fire Gates. The city's police commission would have to do that. Police Chief Gates is rejecting Bradley's call to resign and says it's up to him to bring his forces through this. And rescuers are going to try an unusual effort to retrieve an explorer who broke her leg in the nation's deepest known cave. The rescuers have formed a bucket brigade to carry Emily Mobley out of a dangerous passageway in New Mexico's Lechuguilla Cave. Mobley broke her leg Sunday about 2 miles into the cavern. Officials say it could take until Friday to retrieve her. President Bush is in Florida visiting with his 89-year-old mother this morning. The president didn't have much luck landing any bonefish during his 3-day fishing excursion, but said the rough waters made catching the popular fish difficult. He returns to Washington tonight for a televised ceremony honoring American troops who participated in Operation Desert Storm. And finally this morning, the Chicago White Sox still think Bo knows baseball. And today in a news conference in Florida announced they had signed Bo Jackson to a 1-year contract. The signing comes less than 2 weeks after the Kansas City Royals released him after he received a serious hip injury. The terms of the deal have not been released. And that is all from here in the newsroom. Diane Dawson, back to you. And Dawson, before I go, I just want to say this is my last news cut-in for your Between Friends show here, and it's been a pleasure working with you, and good luck in whatever you decide to do.
Thanks, Aim. Well, it was nice working with you. You'd been on the show a couple of times, and continued success.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
You just turn a dial. You'll find me somewhere.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, dear.
Ken Barlow joins us right now. The weather outside is just incredible. Now, I feel really funny because when I come here in the afternoon, I usually dress because when I leave in the evening, I wear it all to work.
So you're all bundled
So
up.
I've got my gloves on, I've got my jacket on, and when I walked in yesterday, you know, the director for the show said, is it that cold outside? And I said, no, I leave at 11 o'clock. I need the jacket.
Yeah, no, you don't need a jacket today.
It's incredible.
Yeah, you can wear your short sleeves. In fact, today we have a gorgeous afternoon. Temperature is already up to 56 degrees. We're headed for the low 60s again, possibly 70 tomorrow and 70 on Friday. This is great. Partial sunshine right now, 56 degrees. Winds are out of the south and they're light. We'll see a passing shower after about 4 or 5, but it'll be very brief and very light. Warm. 58 to 63 degrees. Overnight tonight, look for a few scattered showers, maybe even the rumble of thunder, but again, no widespread precipitation expected. It'll be mild. That should be close to our average high right there, and that'll be tonight's low, 40 to 45. And again, clearing skies tomorrow after a cloudy start, and close to 70 by afternoon.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
It's nice to wear just my sweaters to work. No bundle.
You don't even have to wear that when you go out.
People are really getting itchy to get into their gardens. And
Convertibles I'm seeing coming down. And
I was tempted to wear my shorts today, my nice sort of day-glow orange.
We're glad you didn't.
They're red. They would have matched. That wasn't rehearsed.
I mean, you have cute legs, but we don't want to share them with the world, right?
They're a little bony. Anything can happen in this last week of Between Friends, as I call it. We've got a great deal today. It's available today only. You must say I'm calling for the Between Friends great deal. It is from Advantage Tennis, 50% off their T-shirts and racket restringing, regularly $15 to $26, now $7.50 to $13. It is available today only. Give them a call or go by at 1315 Larpenteur Avenue, Suite B in Roseville. The number is 645-1950. Today only, and the secret passphrase is, Ken Barlow?
We're here for the Between Friends great deal.
Wonderful rendition of that. A limit 2 per customer on that.
You play tennis?
Yeah, I do. Well, I used to until I became this massive person.
Well, tennis will help take that off a little bit.
That will.
Won't take mine off. It'll help take yours off.
So will unemployment. I'm eating spam.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, when we come back, we're going to talk to guys who talk to Nurse Agnes about cosmetics and keeping that they can be dangerous for your health. All that more coming up. Between Friends.
Another school day for Barbara Nelson. And like most of them, it's a long one. The extra hours she puts in with Brian really add up. But today, he feels good about his progress, and so does she. It's a new sense of optimism a lot of people share. A feeling that together, we can meet any challenge tomorrow may bring. At KARE 11 News, we'll be there to meet those challenges with you, 24 hours a day. And when has that mattered more?
Now you can protect your dog and the beauty of your property with invisible fencing. A revolutionary system that works like a fence without the offensive appearance. With invisible fencing, a thin wire runs under your property line. When your dog strays, the wire signals his special collar, making a sound he's been trained to recognize and obey. University tested, veterinarian approved, invisible fencing is trusted by tens of thousands of dog lovers. Costs substantially less than traditional fencing and comes with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. So to protect your dog and the beauty of your property, invisible fencing works like nothing you've ever seen.
For more information, call Invisible Fence at 895-0206. That's 895-0206. Up to an acre from $795 plus tax. Easy to install or professional installation is also available. Money-back guarantee.
Step right up. Don't be shy. Dad has something everybody loves. State Fair brand corn dogs.
State Fair starts with a premium quality Frank. Then we dip it in our honey-sweetened batter for that great State Fair taste.
Believe me, you are gonna love every bite.
Honey-sweetened batter gives State Fair brand corn dogs that great State Fair taste.
There you have it. 2 more satisfied customers.
And we are back. Just how safe are those cosmetics in the cupboard at home? Are you hanging on to things that maybe you shouldn't after many years of use? Well, joining us right now is Agnes Lane, Nurse Agnes with Health One, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we should keep, what we should throw away.
That's right. We use cosmetics in our daily routine all the time, from our personal care routines. Even, in fact, the allure of cosmetics is so strong
Now,
that
this
children...
is for little girls.
That's right. That was a gift from a doting aunt for my daughters. But really, spring is the best time to think about how you can take better care of your skin. In fact, I talked with a skin specialist, Dr. Alvin Zellickson, and he said it makes complete sense for women to have a different routine for the different seasons. Because in the winter, dryness is an issue. But in the spring and the summer, we need to think about protection and how we can incorporate that into our daily routine. So it makes a lot of sense to look at having moisturizers and even foundations that have a sunscreen built right in them. It can be a lot easier and it's a lot safer for us, so we get that protection on a daily basis.
Do we need that year-round?
You do need it year-round because you do get a lot of casual sun even if you're just out. You need more sun protection if you're going to be out, you know, playing outside with picnics or things like that.
And especially if you're fair like I am.
Well, and with taking stock of what sunscreens you have on hand, the FDA requires that there be an expiration date on those products, unless, if there's not a date, that means that they're good for 3 years unopened. So if you've really been having some things around for many, many years, you might want to throw those out because they may not be giving you the protection you think you should be having, and it could, for yourself and your children, you know, be risking some of the damaging effects of the sun. It's interesting, with moisturizers that say they're anti-aging, what that means, according to the FDA, is that a sunscreen has been added to this product. So that
instead of rolling back your youth, actually what they're doing is preventing further damage to
That's
your
right,
skin.
because the basic knowledge of skin protection is fundamental. And then, when taking stock of your cosmetics, there are some flexible guidelines to consider on how long should I keep these around and what should I think about so that I can use the cosmetics I like more safely. And starting with the eyes, we're going to talk about mascara. Mascara is good generally 3 to 6 months. Every product does have some variations. With your mascara, you should be very careful never to put the brush on the counter where it can pick up contamination, and never add water to your mascara to try to stretch it, because that dark, damp spot will serve as a perfect growth for bacteria, and you can be risking an eye infection and serious eye damage by putting that bacteria on your eyes. The things with eye pencils, keeping them, those are usually good up to 3 years, and keeping the tip clean by using frequent sharpening makes a lot of sense, because especially if you're using your eye pencil on the lower lid, you don't want to be introducing bacteria into the eye by using an old dirty pencil.
So sharpen it.
Sharpen it. Then with eye powders, those are good up to 3 years, and change the brushes. You can get brushes in a variety pack for very little money, and that will help you use them a lot more safely. Then with moisturizers and foundations, those are good 2 to 3 years. Oil foundations will separate. Water-based foundations will evaporate. So keeping the lid on and keeping them closed tightly makes a lot of sense. With, once again, if you use a sponge, keep your Sponges clean. Wash your hands before you start putting on your makeup so that you're not putting dirty, bacteria into it.
We should throw those out every so often.
That's right. I mean, get rid of them if they look bad. With powders, those can last longer, but taking care of the brushes by washing those in warm soapy water and letting them air dry will help you use
I have a
safer.
tip for drying those quicker, and that's get out your hair dryer.
That's right, so you don't have that caked powder on your face. With lipsticks, those are good up to 2 years. Keep them away from the heat. That will cause them to deteriorate. Nail polishes, also 2 to 3 years. And a little tip with fragrances. Fragrances, heat and light destroys the scent. So if you have that very special fragrance that you seldom use, you would want to store that in the refrigerator, possibly wrap it in foil.
That's news to me. Store it in the refrigerator. Of all the things I can think that I would be looking for in the refrigerator, not
your perfume.
Not my perfume.
Well, you certainly, like I said, if it brings back those special memories of the perfume that you wore.
But it won't leak an odor into the food.
No, it won't, because you'll have it all sealed up, and it'll keep its fragrance a lot better that way. And they certainly are expensive, so you want to save them. Then sometimes when you take your inventory of what you have, get rid of anything that doesn't look good, doesn't smell good, anything that you've had around, like I said, for a long period of time, because you would not want to use that on your face, and you wouldn't want to give that to your children to use either.
I think there's a thought out there that, oh, well, I don't use it that much, and if I just keep it a little bit longer and maybe protect it from the light, it's okay.
Yeah, well, sometimes you can get a reaction, and in fact, people can react to not only new chemicals, but they could also react to things that are contaminated. They can also react to, after having a product and using it for a long period of time, a cumulative effect. And what you need to do then is figure out, sometimes the people will react to, that'll just feel bad. They'll have burning, stinging, irritation. There might be actually some redness in the area. And if you can pinpoint what it is, like this is a rash on the neck. We also have another picture of somebody who's reacted to some lipstick, the dye in the lipstick, where their lips are actually peeling because of that. And then they would know, well, I'm not going to use that brand anymore. Sometimes it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly what it is, and you're going to need to work with your physician or a skin specialist. In this other picture, there's been a reaction around the eyes. You might think, uh-oh, this is because something I put on my eyes. But actually, from the text that this was taken from, this is from something that was on the hands, a nail varnish that then they touched their eyes and developed a reaction. So you might not know exactly what the problem is, and you're going to have to work with your physician so that they can find out what chemicals you are allergic to or have problems with, and then become a label reader. The FDA requires that ingredients be on each product, so that you can avoid those in the future. And then when buying new products, work with a skin specialist, because they'll tell you about your skin type and the special skin needs. And in fact, even ask for samples. With consultation, samples are given.
What about a skin test?
You do. You definitely want to do a patch test with anything that you're going to use, so you don't end up with a catastrophe on your face. And then take one product at a time. And then if you want to try several new ones, space it out so you don't do them too frequently. A recommendation is maybe one product every 2 weeks to make sure you can handle it. It makes a lot of sense to know what you're working with, what you're using on your face, so that you can look your best and feel good about yourselves.
Lots of information to take in today.
Well, it's been fun. Yeah.
Well, Ag.
Thank you, Dr.
Ness, our last
last
One
show.
segment.
Well, it's been great working with you. I've really enjoyed working with through Health One and through Channel 11, so it's been great.
I'm going to miss you. You really were very, very professional, very thorough in your presentation, and gave, I know, our viewers lots and lots of great information.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
That's been great.
We've got another great deal for you today. It's from Dale Studios. Kind of ties in with that cosmetic stuff. 50% off the engagement portfolio. It was $100, now $50. It is available, of course, just today only. And Dale Studios, you can give them a call at 869-7210 for an appointment. It includes the sitting fee and a portfolio of 8 4x5s. And why not capture those special memories even before that big day, as in birth of your child, wedding, other stuff.
All kinds of things.
All kinds of wonderful things. And when we return, we're going to have a very special makeover. A young mom has her 2 kids returning from the Persian Gulf, and another lady is celebrating a very special anniversary. All that and more coming up right here on Between Friends. Stay with us.
Thank you.
this great hit from the 50s? Or this one from the fabulous Diamonds? How about this one from the summer of 1957? 6 miles across the sea. Now, for the first time, these original legendary voices have joined musical forces to create this historic album, The Four Preps, 3 golden groups in one. Just listen to some of the greatest hits of the golden age of rock and roll. Then surely does the angels sing. I was a big man yesterday, but boy was he me now. There's nothing in the world for a boy and a girl but love, love, love. Took a walk and past your house. The Four Preps, 3 golden groups in one, is not in any store at any price. You must order now.
For rush delivery of The Four Preps, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-342-2700. That's 1-800-342-2700. Or send $12.95 for 2 LPs or double-length cassette, or $14.95 for compact disc, plus $3 shipping and handling to 4 Preps, P.O. Box 2001-RE, Murray Hill Station, New York, New York. Or call 1-800-342-2700.
Child care for the audience, provided by Club Kid, an hourly child care adventure. Interior design provided by International Interiors, where Twin Cityans have found great value on contemporary furnishings for 20 years. Corbin's Clothing provided by Cedric's Fashions in the Galleria.
A bizarre accident turns man into machine.
Lieutenant, you are probably the most advanced human being who ever lived.
A new power takes command of the Enterprise.
How do we get him out of there? We don't. Not without killing him.
And he's sending the crew on a death mission.
We are in danger. Remove yourself from the computer system.
And we have lost computer control.
12 seconds to critical.
Mind Trap on an all-new episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Saturday at 6 on KARE 11.
Ladies and gentlemen, the transformation.
Let Park work its home decorating magic on your furniture. Call now with an order for a sofa or 2 chairs, and we'll make a brand new ottoman appear absolutely free.
When you're reaching for the refreshing, one-of-a-kind taste that's out of this world, you can't beat the real thing.
And thank you. If you have been a viewer of Between Friends, you know that Wednesday is Makeover Day. It is, of course, our final makeover since the show is going off the air at the end of this week. It is, I think, my 4th or 5th makeover, and I'm a little upset because I was starting to build. I was in training. I've been reading up. I've been reading, you know, Hairstylist Quarterly and having a little bit of fun, or Stylists Are Us. And with us today is a well-known stylist here in town, Jerry Androli of Androli Hair Design. And nice to have you with us. This is your second visit, I believe.
Second visit.
Second visit.
Nice to have you here. Thank you.
What are some of the sort of the new trends or attitudes in hair as far as design and color right now?
Color is, well, let's go for design first.
Okay.
I believe there's not really a trend for length. Length should be probably comfortable for the individual wearer. You have to take in consideration the facial structure, lifestyle, all of those things. Color definitely is really important, and we have a wonderful color salon. We like natural highlights without taking a person out of their natural spectrum. You wouldn't take a natural blonde and make her a deep brunette. You might do that for a rock video.
If you were Madonna.
Madonna.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of becoming Madonna because it's. I hear there's a lot of work as Madonna right now.
What would you do for Dawson here?
Dawson?
Donna Dawson has a couple of days left here.
Yeah. Just,
what would you do?
is it okay?
With Dawson, I think probably you're going to go where it's warmer.
Yeah.
All right. So I would suggest.
I'm going to go blonde.
Okay. Well, you know, you have a few gray, right?
I got lots of
All
grays.
right. But you know, don't cover them.
Okay.
Keep them there, but blend some lighter tones of hair coloring with that.
Lighter. Thanks, Jer.
Yeah, I think that would
appreciate
help.
it. I may pop down to the
All
salon
right,
on Saturday.
good.
Thank you.
We have a good color department.
Okay,
Run
great.
by Sindra.
Our first letter is from Jackie Miller, and it says, Dear Between Friends, I have been shopping hair salons now for 2 years, searching for a stylist who can give me that updated 90s look. I finally have the right type of hair, straight, and more straight, but I haven't been able to find anyone who will take the time to really look at me and be able to give me a complimentary, easy, well-groomed style. Perhaps one of the professionals you have on your show, that's you, Jer, would know exactly what to do for a look that would look good on me. I have been stuck in the 80s with anti-gravity bangs far too long and have just about given up trying to find a different hairstyle. With my 7-month-old son Curtis and working full-time at home, I don't take the time to do myself up. Sincerely, Jackie Miller. Now we're going to take a look at Jackie before. Kind of looks nice. What was the problem here? What did you think needed to be corrected?
Well, the hairstyle was a nice hairstyle, but Jackie had it long enough.
Mm-hmm.
And also her lifestyle. Now she has a 9-month-old baby. I think she needed something with a little bit more ease.
Here's the after shot, live in our studio. Wow.
Very sophisticated looking.
Okay. That's good. Let's have you turn around a little bit there. Now, you really shaped it quite severely in the back.
Yeah, I took off that length because I figured she has a nice shape to her head. Jackie, why don't you just give us a little bit more profile? There we go. Okay, good. And she has coarse hair, and we did some highlighting in her hair. Sindra did that the other day, and just to create some summer lights into her hair. You notice it's natural.
Yeah. Now we're going to do a comparison now, a before-after shot. Wow, what a difference.
Jackie, what does your husband think? He likes it?
He thought it looked good, so that made me feel a lot better. It's so different from what I had.
And does your son recognize you now?
It took him about an hour to say "mommy" when I came home last night, but I think well, he's only 9 months, so I don't know if he likes it, but he doesn't have a choice.
Here's our next candidate today, wrote a letter to Dear Between Friends. This letter is a request for you to consider me for a complete makeover for your program. My son Joel and my daughter Julie are both serving in the U.S. Navy, most recently in support of Operation Desert Storm. They have been in the Gulf region since August and September, respectively, and they're coming home. I am unable to meet Joel's ship in Florida, but I will be a passenger on Julie's ship with her from Pearl Harbor to San Diego. Hopefully, Joel will be able to join me in Hawaii for a few days. It's been 3 years since the three of us have been together. I am a single parent with multiple sclerosis, with exacerbations brought on by stress. Well, with the help of a lot of friends, family, and my Sockham family, I have not only survived both physically and mentally, but I have become truly stronger within myself. I would very much like to have a new look to reflect my newfound inner strength. I know they are as proud of me as I am, and I'd love to surprise them with an updated Mom of the 90s look. Joel and Julie truly are my heroes. What a profound feeling of pride I have for them. Now here she is before. This is Marilee Curtis. Now that's just a lot of hair.
A lot of hair, and it's kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy for her to pull back. She's got a beautiful face, and you'll see. But she needed an update. I love her patriotism.
Great patriotic sweater there. Let's see the new Marilee.
Isn't that great?
Wow.
Isn't that terrific?
Very nice. How do you feel?
Dramatic change.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Absolutely wonderful.
Now we're going to do a little comparison now between the before and the after. Boy, that is dramatic. She really lightened up. Why don't you just turn around just a little bit? Right there. Really lightened up her hair and did some wonderful stuff to it there.
Well, what we did to her, actually, is, first of all, we thought, well, she's going to where it's humid. She has a little natural curl. Let's give her a roller perm. And then to give it some bounce in it, because when she washes her hair, and then just lets it air dry, it'll be great. And then we decided to do some hair coloring.
Great.
And just
Wonderful
to
job.
she's going to be all those sailors over there in Hawaii.
Yeah,
Jackie, come on in for a second.
So,
With the humidity, the hair will be even fuller.
Before we go, we want to thank Jerry Androli of Androli Hair Design at 473-2503. Thanks to Whiteley's for the clothing. And our pizza tomorrow will be cooked by Chef Antonio Ceccheroni from Bravo in Edina. Thanks, Di.
Thank you.
Thank you all. See you tomorrow on Between Friends. Bye-bye.
KARE 11 is building a permanent memorial to honor all the men and women of Minnesota who served in Operation Desert Storm. To include your soldier, send a check or money order for $1 per name. Print clearly the name, rank, and hometown, and send your order to KARE Memorial. The dollar is a nonprofit price for materials only.
There's no place like home, and KARE 11 will show you how to make it even better with the help of our home care professionals. Now is the time to plan your home improvements all around and top to bottom to make your dreams become reality. A new look, a new feel, a new appreciation of your home is quick and easy with the great advice and products of the No Place Like Home professionals. Gephardt's Home Center in Lakeville, Mannington Floors.
Every day, millions of people are hiding the taste of their hot dogs. There's no question some deserve this fate, but not John Morrell. Our hot dogs are really good, and they've earned the Good Housekeeping seal. That's because our great taste comes from the unique blend of fresh, lean meats and seasonings we put into a hot dog. Not what you put on it. John Morrell, the great taste stands alone.
New John Morrell Bigger Than the Bun Franks, available at Super Value stores.
Register now for the KARE 11 Bike Classic and help support cancer prevention and screening programs by Health One Hospitals and Healthcare Services.
Zero in on the $100,000 pyramid with host John Davidson.
Weekdays at 4 on KARE 11. From your 24-hour news station, this is KARE 11 News and Weather on the Hour.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy Powell. It's 58 degrees. A new survey finds that Minnesota is among the states with the lowest rates of AIDS virus infections among childbearing women. Researchers say in Minnesota, 2 childbearing women had the AIDS virus per each 10,000 births. 3M and the U of M School of Dentistry have established a research center to develop technologies aimed at producing new dental materials and methods. The high this afternoon, about 60.
Away. Take a long walk up a short cliff, but we see you can. Good luck. What's the matter?
Fluffy's gone.
Fluffy?
Hey, buddy.
Fluffy, come here.
Fluffy.
Fluffy, where are you? Fluffy. Fluffy, come here.
Fluffy, come here.